So I'd like to call upon the panelists one by one. I'd like to start with Henry Steingass, who is the USTDA Regional Director for South and Southeast Asia. Henry, please. Yeah.
Thank you, Rish, and thank you very much, Mr. Edupanti, for emerging the role of the regulator in such a clear way. We have found a very important area of potential through the smart grid portfolio that we have supported, and I think a number of you have heard a number of the projects that we've been able to support in India that are defined in a smart grid way. And it's great to actually be here with some of the partners that we have supported, both on the distribution utility side and actually trying to engage the regulator in the course of feasibility studies and pilot projects, which is what we do with our funds, has increasingly become critical as an obvious part of each of these pilot feasibility studies or activities that we will mount on a knowledge sharing basis. So I think everyone has seen this, has been handed around. It's in essence kind of a resume of smart grid activities that we've been able to support over the last 6 or 7 years. But time and again we've seen this critical point that Mr. Eduganti mentioned, the justification that needs to be taken on by the regulator for the investments that may be treated primarily as a capital expenditure. They may in some cases be treated as an operating expenditure. And it seems that when it comes to smart grid, maybe there needs to be some other way of defining benefits other than proof that it's going to maintain or eventually reduce tariffs. Clearly the regulator has many issues to balance in their consideration, and like all things, electric utility systems must evolve into the present and the future, because lots of conditions change. The availability of different fuels or energy resources that make up the base electricity generation mix change, and the regulator has to be able to understand that and how they must provide decisions that accommodate those changes. And perhaps it's because smart grid is seen as a set of changes that are new and technology that may benefit the utility company more than ultimate consumers, especially residential consumers. Or perhaps they're seen as applications and investments that benefit larger commercial and industrial users. It makes the decisions that the regulator must undertake harder to move forward on in a direct way. So we tried to look at each project's outcome and how it has resulted in deployment, or what the results are that will bring about deployment. Because the work of our agency is not to conduct research that builds knowledge, but it's much more to push the D, as we've heard talked about in deployment. In the US-India Energy Cooperation, there is R for research and there is D for deployment, and our work is much more on the deployment side. And we were actually lucky to bring the Delhi Energy Regulatory Commission on a mission to the US, where we sponsored a regulator's mission to Distributech, the largest US distribution-focused conference and exhibition, because this is a key area for increased knowledge and capacity and sharing of decision-making models that have been worked on in many locations. And the diversity of potential applications and justifications on an economic level and on a level that relates to operations of electric utility systems is a very big topical area that clearly the regulator role has to be integrated from the beginning. So we've actually been very happy that the projects that we've supported with Reliance Infra in Mumbai, that Innovari undertook, and the numerous projects with Tata Power Delhi Distribution have increasingly had the regulator's involvement a key part to help bring forward the benefits that can be understood at the consumer level. We are not ourselves experts or specialists in the domain. We learn so much from gatherings like this and working with the expert organizations that are also from the US that are represented here, and are looking very closely at Indian experience supported by not just our activities and USAID's activities and DOE's, but what's going on here in the Indian marketplace. And this is an area we have committed to continue supporting because we are seeing reasonable deployment in India and in the other markets where we work. There has been very strong uptake of some smart grid applications in other emerging markets where our agency has supported similar programs here in India. And we think this is the key market to invest in. Many aspects of this workshop have also touched on the role of storage, and that's an area where we have also put our support, and we see that building into the smart grid arena as well. We are, I think, more listeners at a workshop like this today. We're happy to share our experience, and what we hope to do is use this US-India energy cooperation context to share that experience when there are activities like the Smart Grid Forum, but also there's a India-US energy dialogue where there's an important sharing going on. I'll stop there because I know there's lots of true experts here to give their perspective, but the question and answer period I think could also be very helpful. So thank you.